I'll tell them why we're here, and we'll let them talk about it. We just launched a new attendance campaign. And what does this mean for you? Well, we want you to go to school, because getting to school is a good idea. But we've also launched, we're going to provide incentives, or prizes. And the prizes will be every student who makes it, let's get the rules right. I'm missing my rules people. I'm going to make sure we get the rules right. If it's less than 5 absences in the semester, you will be able to put your name in for a drawing, and we have prizes lined up for you, which will be fun. You'll get a full list. The classroom that does the best will compete for prizes. I think it's Pagliacci Pizza is the classroom. October, classrooms that improve the most in attendance. And then the schools that improve the most in attendance is going to get a visit to Molly Moon's ice cream trip. And the reason we're doing this is because we just want to say to the kids, if you show up to school, we appreciate it, and we want to support all the kids that are coming to school. But I'll turn it over to Mom. He'll tell you, too, why we're doing it.
Yeah, it's very important that we do this, and you guys are doing it. You guys are in class right now, so if any of your friends or peers who are not in class, you need to get them here, because you guys are learning something right now. A day you miss can set you back a lifetime. You just never know, because one day can turn into 2 days, and 2 days can turn into a week. Before you know it, you're behind the rest of the class, and then you don't really want to come back because the class is already moving forward. They're in chapter 5, and you still haven't read chapter 1. It's embarrassing. So you guys continue to get your friends and peers here. I see that basically the whole classroom is full, so you guys are doing a heck of a job. But go ahead and compete. Compete with each other, help each other grow. I think that this will be one of the classes that are in that prize drawing to get a pizza party at the end of the year. So let's see what happens. All right, and we'll definitely come back to visit you guys as well.
Yeah, Will, you want to add anything?
Just kind of like what the mayor and Jamal said, it's our responsibility to make sure we help each other out as a friend. You guys have friends in this class, and some people get it more than others. Some people are a little smarter than others, but the ones who are can help the ones who are having trouble figuring it out, help them out. It's not a problem. It takes teamwork to make a dream work, so we should kind of help each other out and make sure everybody stays at the same level and get that prize.
Do you guys have any questions for us at all? Anything?
It can be about anything.
Again, why are you aware of our attendance?
Why are we aware of your attendance? We're just down here because there's nothing wrong with this class, if that's what you're asking. In fact, it looks really great. What we know is, we were sitting in the office one day with the people who work in our youth violence prevention, who work in our Office of Education, work in our Parks Department. And we're saying, what can we do to make sure that kids got a better education? What could we do from the mayor's office? Because we don't run the schools. The schools are in charge of making sure you get taught well when you're here. So what we know is that kids that drop out of school or miss too many classes, let me back up. Kids that miss a lot of classes, it's a high prediction that they might drop out of school in the future, or they might not do well. But a very important part of learning is just being here. It's just being here. And we also saw that when we looked across the school district that there were a fair number of kids that weren't making it to school on a regular basis. So we said, what could we do to make it more likely that kids would go to school? And what we came up with was an incentive-based program, prizes, and pulling together getting celebrities involved, like Jamal and Will, getting community groups involved, getting parents involved. And all we're saying to you is you show up to school, and we want to reward you for showing up to school. That's all we're trying to say to you. And we'd like you to make sure that not only that you guys stay in school, but you help your friends stay in school too. That's why.
Did you have perfect attendance?
No, I did not. I did not have perfect attendance. But I was pretty good. I was pretty good attendance as a kid. I never got a perfect attendance score. Now, we know you're going to get sick. You might not, but you might get sick. If you get sick, you should stay home. You don't want to bring your germs to class. We also know there might be a reason that your family needs to pull you out of school. Maybe there's a family emergency of some type. So there are good reasons to miss school. But the main thing is that if you can make it, you should make it, because it adds up. And we do know a lot of kids drop out. But I made it through, we call it grammar school. We don't call it that. I made it through high school. I made it through college. I even got myself a law degree. One of the things I learned, somebody once said, 95% of success in life is just showing up. And I just want to say to you, there's a lot of truth to it. No matter how hard the things you're dealing with are, if you don't show up, you can't beat it. So I'm not into the
when you were kids, did you behave yourself?
Did I behave myself? Wow, do we have cameras here? Like any kid, I got in trouble occasionally. I got demerits in school, I got detention once in a while, but I never did anything seriously wrong as a kid. And I learned from those experiences too, and tried to focus on doing well in school as well. And I did okay in school, but I also got in trouble occasionally. I think I'm like most kids.
Did you help others when they were behind at school?
Yeah, I did. I did help others in school, and in fact, one of my favorite parts of school is when you did learning as a group, because I just enjoyed that more. I'm the type of person who does better communicating with other people.
I can help with that question that you just asked. I wish I could have, knowing what I know today, I wish I could have helped a lot more of my friends, because of some of my friends who didn't make it as far as me scholastically, I wish I could have helped them, because I was one of the people who got it a little better than they got it. So looking back and being able to tell you, one of the people who get it, help your friends out. Down the line, it'll pay off in the long run.
Everybody needs friends. I want to say that to you. Getting good grades is important, but having friends that you're tight with and that you're all working towards a goal. Friends, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be mayor except for the friends I had growing up in high school, college, even law school. Those friends were always there to help me, and so help your friends. They'll help you back.
This one's for Mr. Crawford. Why are you involved in this campaign?
I'm involved in this campaign because I was one of the kids who didn't go to class a lot my freshman and sophomore year. I was one of the kids who would rather be with the wrong crowd hanging out, than in class. And then after that, when I moved back to Seattle, it was an adjustment, and I had to get back to being a kid again and stop trying to do grown-up things. I was back to being a kid. It was fun to be a kid and go to class, to go to school. It was cool to be here and learn something, get questioned about a book I read, or do some math work. I love math to today. Who will tell you? I'm like a mathematician now, but I love being in class, and I know how important education is. Yeah, I made it to the NBA, and I had a great career, but more than anything, I couldn't have done without education, because you get paid a lot of money. I'm being very honest with you. You get paid a lot of money, but you have to have an education to be smart enough to deal with all the people and all the things that come along with having a lot of money. So I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't in class back. What grade are you guys in?
7th.
Back in 7th grade. 8th grade? Okay. Well, back at this age, I wouldn't have been able to do those things I'm doing now if I didn't start here. I had to have some kind of foundation to draw from.
I'd like to ask a quick question, if that's okay. And first, thank you so much for coming. And kids, everyone here came to Denny because they know you're doing great things and they're proud of you and want to be a part of that energy. And Mr. Crawford, you spoke upstairs in the library and said a few things which I really appreciated. You talked about how smart our kids are and how they can be whatever they want if they apply themselves. Yeah. And one of the things that we're doing here is really helping our kids become great in terms of reading and math and science. And I would guess that you probably feel that it's not just coming to school, but really applying yourself. So you have choices in life.
Yeah.
Is that
you
true?
Definitely have choices in life. You can go right or go left. Like Will said, we went to high school together. We've seen a lot of people that we grew up with who didn't make the right choices. And they're still paying for it right now. That was a decision they made in high school, and they're still paying for it at 30 plus years old. And you guys are very, very smart. Like I said, this class is full. So you guys get it. Now we have to get the other people who don't necessarily get it like you guys get it to get it. Like, I think you guys can really, really help them. And if you help them, you're helping our community. And that's all we're all trying to do. We're all a big team right now. So everybody has a role to play and a part to play. And we're just trying to do our part by keeping the kids here and applying yourself. Because coming is half the battle, but when you apply yourself, you're like, oh man, I knew that answer. It's cool to know the answer. It's cool to be smart. You can kind of stick out your chest a little bit, and I think that's what it's about.
Again, when you apply yourself, on top of that, when you apply yourself, just the teacher is a little more willing to help you out. I remember I was told by one of my teachers because I always, like, when the teacher always asks me, what they do, who wants to read out loud, I was one of the first ones to raise my hand, because I wanted to show everybody in the class I could read real good. And at the end of the day, if I didn't get something right, the teacher would always give me a little leeway, because I always participated in class. So instead of that B, that C, I would have gotten on that test. The teacher would be like, well, he always participates, he's trying really hard, I'll give him a B minus. So if you put that effort in, the teacher sees that. They were once your age, believe it or not. So you have to just realize that the teachers are human too, and they see the effort that you put in each day.
One of them figured out I was once their age. In the back, you had a question?
Me?
Yeah, I thought you had your hand up. That's okay. You go next to you. Yeah.
Do you think if you didn't make it through college, you think you would still be there?
Here, in this job, the job I have now,
I'm
Well,
talking
these
to
guys-
all of you guys.
all of us, oh, for me, all of you, we'll all answer that. No way would I have this job. I mean, I'd be doing something else, I don't know what, but not this job.
Me, no. The one thing leads to that, high school leads to college, college leads to being an adult, successful adult. So no, you have to go to school.
No, I wouldn't have made it without education or going to school. There's no way around it. You know, there's no shortcuts to success. You just have to go through it. But you'll appreciate it more once you go through all the hard work.
I knew you had your hand up. Go ahead.
What did you guys all study in college?
Well, I studied lots of different things, but my degree was in economics, is what I studied. So it's you know, how does the economy work, is what I primarily studied. But I studied English and math and science, philosophy, things like that as well.
Me, drama. I did acting, so I did plays and stuff in college and high school.
I took sports management classes. I took business classes. I had a goal in mind of what I wanted to do, and I knew those things would help prepare me.
Yeah.
What happens if you miss a few days in college?
You know, about the same thing that happens if you miss a few days in school here. You can fall behind and you have to try to figure out how to catch up. What happens though in college, they don't hand out detention or things like that. They figure you're old enough to make your own mistakes there. So, but it's important to get your habits established early, because good habits carry you forward later in life. And sometimes you have to relearn habits too, to make sure you apply yourself. Yeah,
How long were you guys in college?
excuse me?
How long were you guys in college?
I was in for 4 years.
A year.
Oh, yeah.
A year. In my profession, I'm still actually taking classes now. So in my profession, you kind of have to go when they're talking about you. And at that time, they were talking about me after my freshman year, so I had to kind of go there. But I'm going back now to get my degree, and I see the importance of education.
So
That tells you something. That tells you something. Jamal is going to get that degree because the basketball career, I mean, if he's really, really good, he'll play a long time. But at some point, basketball ends, and he's going to have a degree.
Mr. McGinn, how long did it take you to get that degree?
Oh, being a mayor, that took a lot more work than getting a degree. I'll tell you that. It took a lifetime of work. But I got to tell you, there's one lesson I want to give you. I didn't graduate from college thinking I was going to be the mayor of Seattle. I didn't even know I was going to live in Seattle. Or I didn't think I was going to be a mayor. What I did was I just worked on things that I was passionate about. I worked on things that I cared about. And what I found was that whenever I was working on things that I cared about, and for me, I always felt better when I was working on things that was with the community. I was very passionate about that. It made me feel good. I helped other people because it helped them, but I helped other people because it made me feel better as a person when I helped other people. And so I just kept doing that and doing that, and over the years, I was a lawyer. I made some money doing that, but I also used my law degree to help people. And I got to a certain point where it seemed like the next thing to do was maybe I could run for office as another way to help people. But I didn't plan it. It happened. And so if that's the one lesson you could take, besides showing up, you got to show up. You got to show up and face your problems. You got to bring some energy to the work. The next thing I would say is just work, do what you care about. Do what feels good to you in terms of how you do stuff. Volunteer. See how that feels to help other people, because I'll promise you, you'll feel good. When you do that, you don't know where your life will take you, But if you do those things, good things will happen. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
So, Buzz, we're going to go visit a few more kids. Why don't you join me in giving them a big round of applause?